Greetings. Today I'm going to talk about one problem and I'm going to give a solution to those problems. The problem that I'm going to be talking about is the increasing birth rates in the United States, Taiwan, and in Japan. I'm going to go through each country's and I'm going to give solutions. I'm going to give solutions, possible solutions to the crisis. In the United States, the major problem in the population crisis is that there's not enough work. There's not enough work to keep the economy going and not enough wages, buying power to maintain a high standard of living. The United States of America is in a country where the native population, the European population, is on the decline. But we have a silver lining, and that silver lining is that we can immigrate more. That's a silver lining. We can increase immigration. But the major problem in the United States is that we're oversaturated with workers. We have a worker surplus. What we need to do to increase the population is to do these things. What we need to do is raise the minimum wage to $15.30. When you raise the minimum wage, you increase the productivity of the citizen, and you also give the citizen more of the ability to attribute to society. What we also need to do is to convert most of our highways to speed rail. Speed rail technology will allow us to travel farther and faster, like any before. It will provide us the transportation of the future. What we also need to do in the United States is to provide universal health care for our citizens, to provide dental care for our citizens, to increase the lifespan of our citizens. This will increase into population growth. This will increase in the population growth because when you provide services to the people, this will prevent the population to increase. Also, in the United States, I would like to see more construction projects. Repairing most of the buildings in Boston or New York. Increasing the values of the homes, and also increasing the population. Now, let's talk about Japan and Taiwan. Japan's population decrease is caused by several things. I'm going to go through them, so hold your horses. I'm going to go say that the Japanese population decrease is mostly caused by different factors. The first factor is the decrease of people who dislike or find sex to be, let's call it, distasteful. And the other part, this is with Taiwan and Japan as well, is couples are not really couples in Japan. Couples in Japan are people in Japan. They work more than 120 hours a month or a week, depending on what statistics you read. And because they work more than 120 hours a month, that is barely enough time to form bonds and relationships with your spouse or what have you. So my remedy for that problem is to have a 40-hour work week and 8 hours a day. This will increase the economy and it's going to increase the population. It is going to increase the population because these people are going to have free time on their hands to get to know each other, to enjoy what they want in life. These people, especially in Taiwan and Japan, people are overworked. If there's a mandatory 40-hour work week, that is going to reduce the suicide rate and reduce death by work in Taiwan and Japan. Also, in Japan and Taiwan and in Hong Kong, I would also encourage companies to encourage their employees to increase the population by giving them bonuses. Give them marriage bonuses. Give them children bonuses. This is going to incentivize that he is a good worker. Because, the Japanese male, they work excessively harder. So, by giving him a higher pay, you're going to make him feel good about himself and make him feel good about the company. We also the Japanese government and the Taiwan government needs to buy industry in the countryside and villages that use the sustained employment. And I will also encourage the Japanese and Taiwan and Hong Kong and the Hong Kong government to recruit young men who are in the city side that is homeless to operate these factories. These factories can produce income for the village that is going under. And this will also increase the population of the village as well. The village where there's only 11 children in a school. In Japan, I encourage the use of the buying up of the property by the government of old factories like sunglasses, timber. This will increase the employment ratio. And once this is done, then you can give it to someone else. I also believe in the United States, Hong Kong, China, and Japan that we also need to provide more mother rights in our workplace. What we need to do is provide equal pay for our women and for our men. If the woman is having equal pay, then the man will come out ahead. Also, in Japan, Taiwan, and China or Hong Kong, I also believe that you need to have more free daycare. You need to have more free daycare for your citizens. And you also need to subsidize the encouragement of the citizens, especially the mothers, to increase and to have children. If I was a company in Japan or in Taiwan, I would give them bonuses per child and give them a wet raise for having children. Between the bonuses per man and the not marriage, but the mother rights, this will increase the population tenfold. It is going to bring it up. When women, if women have more options for babysitting and daycare, and also do not make it impossible for women to get back their old jobs after they leave maternal leave. When a woman becomes pregnant, it is impossible for them to get their jobs back. So women are choosing between their career or increasing the population. What I would like to see what happen is for them to provide the Japanese and Taiwan population with universal daycare and nanny care free of charge and paid for by the government and out of your tax dollars. Also, a disturbing trend in Japan, probably some in Taiwan, is that 26% of men in Japan are, let's call it, overver men or what have you. 26% of men in Japan between 16 and 29 dislike sex. They dislike sex for certain reasons and what have you. I do not understand the cause. Maybe the cause is because in Taiwan and Japan that the women's standards are so high that they decided to build a wall blocking men from pursuing them. Instead of having the three highs guide your parameters of what would be a good husband, what they should do is find someone that has a good personality. To find someone who has a good personality, the three highs do not matter. It is the person's personality that counts. To this population crisis will last until there is movement on these fronts. I know that what we need to do, what Japan and Taiwan needs to do, is make family more important than the work. What they need to do is change their priorities. Also, what we need to do is to educate young people. Teach Japanese girls that it's okay to go date around. In the United States, you're expecting to have like 4 or 5 boyfriends and girlfriends before you settle down. What we need to do is that I read in the paper or what have you, that most Japanese children are single children. And they did not know how to live with another person, especially with the opposite sex. And Japanese men, they find talking to women to be uneasy and very difficult. What we need to do is form clubs that will target that issue. What we need to, because most Japanese in Taiwan and Hong Kong are single children. They find sex to be uneasy. They find meeting women to be uneasy. So what we need to do is develop a club. What we need to do is develop a club or, education where people are paired up between boy and girl, boy and girl. This educational what have you is to decrease the uneasiness in the population. Because, what I'm only going what I heard. So what we need to do is to provide them with, events and classes. For an example, take them on a field trip to a nursing home. Show them that it's serious. Also, in this class, in this club class, let the give students certain tasks to do with their partner, like the parenting egg. Give each couple or each group an egg, and let that egg be like the child or what have you, and they're supposed to take a good care of that egg until the week is up. Also, encourage them to hang out with their partners more. In the college level, I would encourage university professors or deans to encourage the Japanese students to take on roommates. Also with a club. And on the college level, it would be 2 clubs. One for your, for dating, one for dating ethics and what have you. And the other club for learning how to live with another person. Since most people in Japan and China are single child, most of them are single children, they find living with someone else uneasy. So I provide the solution for this. In college, what you need to do is pair them with their own sexes, like boys with boys and what have you, and let them live in the same dorm room. Let them live in the same dorm room and together. This is going to provide living experience. And in the college level, educate them about being a partner. What is it like to be a person? Also, what we need to do at the college and high school level is try to teach them about standards. When high standards are too high, you build a wall. You block the male or female from pursuing you. So what we need to do is do an exercise where a male and female, both of them, are talking about their standards, and they start to build this incredible big wall. This big wall. And we also need to teach them that there must be realistic standards for everything. We also need to teach them the meaningfulness of roughiness. Teaching them that everything is not going to be a-okay when you're together. And we also need to teach them about sexual behavior. This could be done in a club or in sex ed. Get them comfortable with the idea of having sex and not that this will help them to get over the idea that I hate sex, I dislike it. And what we also need to do is encourage overboard men to be manly. What we need to do is encourage them to play sports in clubs, and also teach them to pursue women as their own equal. This is only part one. I hope this will be okay, but I'll talk to you later. Wait for part two. I'm going to give you in part two. I'm going to provide exercises. I am going to provide instructions of how to deal with your club. With your club. And I'm also going to give you instructions of how to deal with your students with such like an overboard man or an over, hyper standard girl or what have you. I am going to show you how this can be done in a classroom setting.